Please.
In Udu Kingdom, they say it's an honor to be chosen as Bride of the Deep. They dress you in white, march you up the shrine steps with drums and tears, and then push you into a hole beneath the altar, where no bride has ever come back from. Chica always knew the mark on her shoulder meant her turn would come. What she didn't know is that the monster waiting in the dark already knows her name, her fears, and the truth about what her people have been doing for generations. What happens next will decide if Udu is being protected by a holy tradition, or feeding something far more dangerous than a serpent. Before we jump in, tell me in the comments, if your village called it an honor to throw you to a beast, would you accept it, or run? And if you enjoy these stories and want to see more of them, please tap the like button so this one can travel far. In Udu Kingdom, people told stories the way they breathed. At night, when the cooking fires grew low and the stars came out like tiny eyes in the sky, children sat in circles and listened. Old women with wrinkled hands and strong voices spoke of heroes and spirits, of trickster tortoises and stubborn hunters. Drums thumped softly in the background like a second heartbeat. But there was one story that always made the fire seem colder. It was the story of the Bride of the Deep. Every generation, the storytellers said, the river chooses a girl. She is born with a serpent mark on her skin, curled like a sleeping snake. When she grows, she is given to the deep. She goes under the shrine to keep us safe from the anger of the river spirits. The children would shiver and draw closer together. Does she come back? The younger ones asked. The grown-ups never answered that question clearly. They would look away and say things like, she protects us, or, some gifts must not return, or the river will be angry. In Udu, fear passed from parents to children like a worn cloth, folded and refolded, never thrown away. Chica grew up listening to those stories. She was a village girl with strong legs and quick hands. Her skin was warm clay brown, and the sun kissed it every day as she ran to the river, helped in the farm, and sold food with her mother in the market. Her eyes were wide and sharp. Her braids were long and neat, with a few small golden beads at the ends that clicked softly when she moved. She loved to laugh. She loved to ask questions. She did not love the story of the bride. Because Chica had a mark. On her left shoulder blade, curling just under the back of her neck, was a birthmark shaped like a coiled serpent. When she was small, her mother, Mama Nika, would touch it with gentle fingers and whisper, "Not my child. Please, not my child." As Chica grew, Mama Nika taught her how to hide the mark. "Always wear your wrapper high," she said. "Or your tunic with the back cloth. Do not let the elders see. Do not let the priest see. If the river does not see you, maybe it will forget." Chica did as she was told. But she also asked questions. "Why must there be a bride at all?" she asked once, when she was about 10. "Why do we give a girl to the dark?" Mama Nika was cutting yams. Her knife slowed. "The river is old," she said. "Before we came, it was already here. People say the first kings made a promise with it. They said, 'Keep our land safe from flood, and we will give you a bride.' But that is not fair," Chica said. "Why not give an old man? Or a goat? Or a bag of yams?" Mama Nika gave a short, sad laugh. "The world is not fair, my child," she said. "But I would break the world before I let them take you." Years passed. Chica grew into a young woman. She helped her mother in their small stall in the market, selling roasted plantain, groundnut, and smoked fish. She ran errands for old women. She listened to the gossip of men under the big tree as they played Ao. She laughed with her friend Kayleigh, who lived 2 compounds away and always found a way to bring her silly jokes, even on hard days. The mark on her back did not fade. It grew with her, dark and clear. When Chica turned 18, the whispers began. "They will check the girls this year," some people said, standing close and talking low. It is time. The last bride went many seasons ago. Maybe they will not find one, others answered, though their eyes slid away, worried. One morning, the drums changed. These were not the happy market drums or the soft evening drums. These drums were slow and heavy. Boom. 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 Mama Nika's hand shook as she poured palm oil into a pot. "They are coming," she whispered. Chica looked up from where she was sorting dried fish. "Who is coming?" "The priest," Mama Nika said. "Baba Madhu. And his men. Today they walk through the kingdom. Today they look at the girls." Chica's heart gave a strange, hard thump. She knew what that meant. All day, she watched the road. She saw Baba Madhu and his helpers in the distance, moving from compound to compound. The priest wore long white cloth with blue edges. Cowrie shells and beads hung from his neck, clinking as he walked. He carried a staff carved with waves and a snake. Behind him walked young men from the shrine, holding calabashes of white chalk. They marked the doors of girls who had been checked and passed. People stepped back as they came. Some bowed. Some crossed their arms tight over their chests. Mothers pulled their daughters into the shadows of doorways. "Maybe they will skip our street," Mama Nika said, more to herself than to Chica. "Maybe they will be tired." They did not skip. The drums drew closer. The cowries clicked louder. Soon, Baba Madhu stood at the entrance of their compound. Mama Nika wiped her hands on her cloth and went out to greet him. Her smile was thin and too wide. "Welcome, Baba," she said. "Our home is small, but you are welcome." Baba Madhu's eyes were small and sharp. They moved over the yard, taking in the cooking pot, the sleeping mat under the mango tree, the line of washed clothes. Then they settled on Chica. "You have a daughter," he said. "What is her name?" "Chica," Mama Nika said. "She helps me in the market." "She is." "Come forward, Chica," the priest cut in. Chica's legs felt heavy, but she walked toward him. She tried to keep her shoulders relaxed, her face calm. The helpers looked at her with interest. One of them, a boy close to her age, seemed to recognize her. His eyes widened a little, then he looked away. Baba Madhu lifted his staff. "The river must be kept calm," he said, loud enough for neighbors to hear. "The mark of the deep must be found. We check the daughters of Udu for the sake of all." He reached towards Chica's arm. "Turn," he said. Chica's throat was dry. Slowly, she turned so that her back faced him. The cloth of her tunic covered her mark. "Loosen the top," he said. Mama Nika stepped in quickly. "Baba, she is modest," she said. "Can we not?" Baba Madhu did not move his hand. "If the deep has chosen her," he said, "no cloth can hide it. If it has not, she has nothing to fear." Chica met her mother's eyes. Mama Nika's lips trembled. "It is all right, Mama," Chica said softly. Her voice did not feel like her own. "Let him see." Her fingers shook as she untied the top of her tunic and pulled the cloth aside, just enough to bare her left shoulder blade. The air felt cold on her skin. For a moment, there was silence. Then one of the helpers sucked in a breath. Baba Madhu's hand tightened on his staff. There, on Chica's back, dark and clear as if painted, was the mark, a serpent, coiled in a neat spiral. Neighbors who had come to peep into the yard gasped. "Ah," someone whispered. "The mark." "The river has chosen," another said. Mama Nika made a small, broken sound. She clasped her hands over her mouth. Baba Madhu lifted his staff high. "People of Udu," he called. "The deep has shown us mercy. The mark has been found. This daughter, Chica, is the new bride of the deep. She will keep our land from flood and our children from the anger of the river spirits." Some neighbors began to clap, but the sound was thin and shaky. A woman at the back wiped her eyes. A man put his arm around his wife and pulled their daughter closer. "Chica is blessed," someone said, though their face looked more sad than proud. "The rest of our girls are safe." Chica heard that last part very clearly. Safe. Because she was not. Baba Madhu turned to her. "You will come to the shrine in 3 days," he said. "You will be washed and dressed in white. You will be given to the deep with honor." He touched her forehead with his fingers, leaving a small white chalk mark. It felt cold and heavy, like a stone. Then he walked away, his helpers and drums following. The moment they were gone, Mama Nika grabbed Chica's shoulders. "We can run," she whispered. Her eyes were wild. "We can go to my sister's people across the hills. You can cut your hair, dress like a boy. They will not find you." Chica looked at the road. Soldiers from the palace were already moving around, checking paths, standing at crossroads with long spears. "They have closed the ways," Chica said softly. "If we run now, they will call it a crime against the whole kingdom. They will punish you. They might punish other families too. They are afraid of the river. They want the mark gone from their sight. So we should just hand you to them." Mama Nika's voice cracked. "No. I will fight them. I will stand in front of you. They will have to kill me first." Chica took her mother's hands in hers. "Mama," she said, trying to keep her own voice steady, "if you fight the priest and the king, who will look after you when they throw you in chains? Who will look after the little ones in the compound? Who will remember me in light, not in fear?" Tears ran down Mama Nika's face. "You are my only child," she whispered. "I cannot let them take you." Chica pulled her into a tight hug. For a moment, she let herself cry too, silent tears soaking her mother's shoulder. "I am afraid," she said into the worn cloth. "I do not want to go into the dark. But if I must go, I will not go crawling. I will walk. I will look them in the eye, so they know I am not a goat they are leading to market. I am Chica." That night, when the village grew quiet and the moon climbed high, Chica could not sleep. She slipped out of the compound and walked toward the river. The air was cool. Crickets sang. The water of Uda River moved slowly, black and silver under the moonlight. Chica stepped to the edge, feeling the damp earth under her bare feet. She stared at the dark surface for a long time. "I know you can hear me," she said at last, speaking to the water. It felt strange, but also right. "They say I belong to you now. They say I must go under the shrine and never come back." The river did not answer with words. But a small wave licked the shore, touching her toes before sliding back. Chica's hands curled into fists. "I am not your food," she said. "I do not know what waits under that hill. I do not know if you are a monster, or a spirit, or just old magic that people have twisted. But listen to me. I will not go down crying. If you take me, you will know my name. You will feel my anger. You will hear my questions. I am not just a mark on skin. I am a person." A breeze moved over the river, sending small ripples across the surface. For just a moment, Chica felt something like a shiver in the ground under her feet, as if something deep below had turned and opened one eye. Then the feeling was gone. Chica stayed there until her feet were numb with cold. Then she turned and went home. In the morning, the drums were different again. They beat fast and bright. Boom ba, boom ba, boom. Women began to sweep the paths. Men hung bright cloth from trees. Smoke from cooking fires rose in tall, twisting lines. People were getting ready. Not for a burial. For a wedding. Mama Nika laid a folded white cloth on the mat in front of Chica. "This is for you," she said. Her voice was dull, like someone who had cried too long. Chica looked at the cloth. Her stomach twisted. White. The color of brides. The color of ghosts. She took a slow breath and stood. "Help me dress," she said. Her hands shook as she lifted the cloth, but her chin stayed high. Outside, the shrine hill waited, and somewhere under it, in the deep dark, something else was waiting too. The day of the wedding came too quickly. Drums shook the air from dawn. Women sprinkled scented water on the road leading to the shrine hill. Men set up tall poles wrapped in cloth the color of river foam. Children peeped from doorways, eyes big and round. In the middle of all this, Chica walked like someone in a dream. She wore the white cloth. It wrapped around her body in smooth folds, tied at her waist with a soft sash. Her braids had been oiled and retied, the golden beads polished until they shone. Thin white chalk lines crossed her forehead and cheeks. Around her neck, Mama Nika had tied the old leather cord with the small carved serpent pendant. "I will not let them take everything from you," Mama Nika had said as she tied it. "This is from your grandmother. It will go with you wherever you go." Chica's heart squeezed at the memory. Now, as the drums beat, they walked together through the village, Chica, Mama Nika, and a line of women behind them singing old songs with shaky voices. People came out to watch. Some threw flower petals. Some reached out to touch Chica's arm with gentle fingers, whispering, "Thank you," and "You are brave," and "The deep will remember you." Others could not meet her eyes. They were grateful it was not their daughter. Their gratitude tasted like ash. At the foot of the shrine hill, they stopped. The hill rose like a sleeping giant, covered in short grass and dotted with old stones carved with waves and snakes. At its top stood the shrine, a low, wide building with a thatched roof and thick wooden pillars. Cowries and bones hung from the roof edge, clicking in the wind. Baba Madhu waited on the steps. He wore new white cloth with a blue border. A white beaded collar circled his neck. His staff rested beside him. Beside him stood two shrine helpers, one of them the boy who had looked away the day they found Chica's mark. His name was Femi. He did not meet her eyes now either. The drums slowed. Boom, boom, boom. Mama Nika gripped Chica's hand so hard it hurt. "You can still run," she whispered, wild hope crackling in her voice. "We can push through the crowd. They might not catch you." Chica looked up at the soldiers standing around the hill. Their spears glinted in the sun. Their faces were hard. "They will," Chica said softly. "And they will punish all of you for helping me. I will not make more people suffer." Tears ran down Mama Nika's face. "What am I supposed to do?" she choked. "Just let you go." Chica swallowed hard. Her own eyes burned. "Let me go," she said, "and when you tell this story, do not say I went like a goat. Say I went like a daughter of Udu who held her head high." Mama Nika pressed her forehead to Chica's, breathing fast, like she was trying to hold the moment in her chest forever. Then she let go. Chica turned and climbed the shrine steps. Each step felt like a drumbeat under her feet. Baba Madhu raised his staff. "People of Udu," he shouted. "The river sees our gift. The bride of the deep climbs to her place. Our fields will be safe. Our houses will stand. Our children will sleep." The crowd answered with a low murmur. Some cheered. Some cried. Chica did not look back. Inside the shrine, it was cooler. The air smelled of old oil, smoke, and something sharp like bitter herbs. Painted lines of blue and white covered the walls. Cowries hung in long strings from the ceiling, making a soft clinking sound when the wind moved. At the far end of the room, a stone altar stood. Behind it was a dark square in the floor, covered by a thick woven mat. Chica's stomach twisted. So that was the way. Baba Madhu walked ahead of her. Femi and the other helper followed behind like guards. "Stand here," Baba Madhu said, pointing to the space before the altar. Chika did. He lifted his staff and began to speak in a low chant, words in an old tongue that Chika did not fully understand. She caught pieces: river, gift, peace, deep. As he chanted, he sprinkled water mixed with chalk over her head. The drops ran down her face and into her eyes. She blinked them away. "Do you, Chika of Udu, accept your place as bride of the deep?" Baba Madhu asked at last, in a loud voice the people outside could hear. Every story said the bride answered, yes. Chika thought of the river the night before. Of the stories. Of the girls who had never come back. Of Mama Nika's shaking hands. Of the mark on her own back. "No," she said. The word hung in the air like a slapped drum. Baba Madhu froze. Femi gasped. The other helper dropped the calabash he was holding. It cracked on the floor, spilling chalk water. Outside, the crowd grew quiet. Baba Madhu's eyes flashed. "You must say yes," he hissed under his breath. "The river must hear your agreement." Chika lifted her chin. Her heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear her own voice. "I will not agree to be something I do not understand," she said. "You can push me. You can throw me. But do not pretend I chose it. Let the river know the truth." For a moment, Baba Madhu looked like someone had struck him. Then his face hardened. "So be it," he said. "The river knows its own business." He turned to the altar and shouted in the old tongue again, faster this time, his voice shaking with anger. Then he slammed his staff down. Femi and the other helper grabbed the mat covering the dark square and pulled it aside. A hole gaped in the floor. Chika could not see the bottom. Only darkness. Baba Madhu turned back to her. "Step forward," he said. Chika's legs felt like wood, but she moved. She stood at the edge and looked down. Her stomach flipped. "What is under there?" she asked, though she knew he would not answer. "The deep," Baba Madhu said. "You will go, and we will live." He lifted his staff again, ready to push her. Chika took a slow breath. She thought of Mama Nika outside. She thought of the river listening. "If you are watching," she whispered in her heart, "remember this. I did not bow." Then the staff hit her shoulder. Chika fell. The first thing she felt was air. Cold air rushed past her, pulling at her white cloth, tugging her braids. She did not have time to scream. The darkness swallowed her too fast. Then she hit something hard. Pain exploded through her side. The breath flew out of her lungs. For a moment, she could not move. She lay there, face pressed to cold stone, the world spinning. Slowly, breath crawled back into her chest. Chika rolled onto her back and blinked. Above her, far, far away, she saw a small square of light, the hole in the shrine floor. A face moved across it for a moment, then was gone. The mat dropped back over the hole. Darkness closed in. Chika lay in the black for a long moment, listening to her own heartbeat. Thump thump. Thump thump. Something dripped nearby. Water. The air smelled of damp stone and old earth, mixed with something else, something like dry scales and river mud. She pushed herself up, every muscle complaining. Her fingers touched the leather cord around her neck. The small serpent pendant was still there. "Grandmother," she whispered, "if you can hear me, walk with me now." Her eyes began to adjust. She could see the outline of a wide cavern, the floor uneven, the roof high and sharp with hanging stone teeth. Pale light leaked in from cracks high above, not enough to chase the shadows, but enough to draw thin silver lines on the wet walls. In the middle of the cavern was a raised stone platform. An altar. Carved along its sides were waves and spirals, worn by time. Chika swallowed. Something lay upon it. She squinted. At first, it looked like a hill of dark earth. Then it moved. Two bright points of gold opened in the darkness. Eyes. Chica's heart jumped to her throat. The shape on the altar uncoiled. It was huge. A body as thick as a tree trunk slid against the stone, scales whispering. Patterns of deep olive, burnished gold, and black diamonds caught the weak light. Coils spilled over the edge of the altar like a living rope and vanished into the shadows beyond. Then she saw the heads. Not one. 3. They rose from a single thick neck near the altar center, like a terrible crown. The head on the left moved first. It curved toward her slowly, tongue flicking in and out. Its eyes were golden, but the glow was soft, like a lantern under cloth. Heavy lids made it look tired. Its mouth was closed, the lines around it pulled down in a sad way. The head on the right turned next, quicker and sharper. Its eyes were narrow slits of hard gold. Its tongue flicked fast. Its mouth stretched into something like a smile, but there was no kindness in it. A small line of long, curved fangs showed. The middle head rose last. It lifted high, straight and still. Its eyes were bright, steady gold, not soft, not harsh, just deep and unreadable. Its mouth was relaxed, neither smiling nor frowning. It looked at Chica without blinking. Chica could not move. Her legs shook. Her hands clutched her pendant so tightly that the carved wood dug into her skin. The three heads spoke. Their voice was like many drums at once, low and deep, layered with different tones, but somehow she could hear each one inside it. Chica, the gentle head said, "It sounds soft and rough at the same time." Bride, the cruel head hissed, licking its lips. Daughter of Udu, the calm head said, flat and slow, as if stating a simple fact. She almost ran. But there was nowhere to go. The cavern walls rose around her like the sides of a huge pot. The tunnel behind her was blocked with old stones. "Who?" Her voice came out as a dry croak. She swallowed and tried again. "Who are you?" The gentle head lowered slightly, as if bowing. "I am what your people fear when they throw girls into the dark," it said. "I am what they call the deep." The cruel head laughed, a hissy, hard sound. "We are what eats their guilt so they can sleep," it said. "We are the monster they made." The calm head did not move. "We are your husband," it said. "In their stories." Chica's stomach twisted. "I did not agree," she said, voice shaking. "I did not say yes." All three heads watched her. The gentle head's eyes shone with something like pity. "And that," it said quietly, "is why you still have a choice." For a long moment, Chica only heard her own breathing and the slow scrape of scales shifting on stone. The gentle head had said she still had a choice. A choice about what? Her knees wanted to fold. Her heart wanted to run. Her mind wanted answers. She made herself stand a little straighter. "If I have a choice," she said, her voice shaking but steady, "then tell me the truth. No more half-stories. No more fear songs. Who are you really? Why am I here? And what does it mean to be bride of the deep?" The three heads watched her in silence. Then, to her surprise, the cruel head spoke first. "Look at you," it hissed. "Little goat girl, shaking but still talking back. I like that." The others screamed, fell to their knees, begged for their lives. Its lips pulled back, showing more teeth. "You glare. You ask questions. It will make it hurt more when you break." "Enough," the gentle head said. It turned toward the cruel one, eyes suddenly bright with anger. "You always want to bite first," it said. But biting never changed anything. Let her hear. The calm head slid between them, like a spear of still water. "We do not have time to fight," it said. "The eclipse is coming. She must know what hangs above her head, and above ours. Chica's fingers loosened on her pendant, just a little. You said we, she said. Like you are three people. We are, the gentle head answered. It turned back to her. And we are also one. Chica frowned. That makes no sense. The gentle head's mouth curved, not quite into a smile. It did not make sense to me either, it said, not at first. It lowered itself so its golden eyes were closer to her height. Once, it said softly, I was a boy like any other in Udu. I ran in the palace yard. I climbed fig trees. I fell into the river and came up laughing. My name was Nago. Chica's eyes widened. You were a prince, she guessed. The calm head nodded. Yes, it said. Nago, son of King Okai of Udu. Only son. Only heir. The cruel head's tongue flicked, restless. And that was the problem, it said. Only son. Only heir. Only target. Chica's stomach twisted. She could see it in her mind now, a small boy with laughing eyes, running along the river walls, people bowing, soldiers watching. A lonely boy with everyone looking at him and wanting something. What happened? She asked. The gentle head's gaze drifted past her, as if seeing old things on the cave wall. When I was 10, it said, my father's advisor, a man named Kuro, began to whisper. He was not from Uda by blood. He came from another kingdom as a young man, looking for work. My father took him in. Kuro was very clever. He knew many charms, many stories. He could read the old carvings no one else remembered. Soon, my father trusted him more than anyone. The cruel head gave a low hiss. Kuro did not like being second, it said. He wanted more. More voice. More power. But as long as your father lived, and you stood behind him, Kuro would always be in the shadow. The calm head kept its eyes on Chica. In the old stories, it said, there was a way to move from the shadow into the center. Not by killing the king. That brings war. No, the old way was to own the fear of the people. To hold their nightmares in your hand and say, see, I can keep you safe from this. Listen to me. Obey me. Chica shivered. So he made a nightmare, she asked. The gentle head nodded slowly. One year, the river rose higher than it had in a long time, it said. It ate some farms. It took 3 children who had gone to play too close. The people were afraid. They came to the palace, shouting, the river is angry. What did we do? Who will it take next? My father stood on the wall, looking down at them, and I stood at his side, holding his hand. The head's eyes shone with old tears. He whispered, I do not know what to say to them, it went on. Then Kuro stepped forward. He had a plan already. He always did. The cruel head's voice grew sharper. Kuro told the people that the river spirits were hungry, it said. That in the old days, kings made deals to keep the water calm. Deals with blood. He said your father's fathers had broken those deals. He said the river wanted a price. A bride, the calm head said. Chica gasped. The 3 heads looked at her. Yes, the gentle head said quietly. Kuro told them of an ancient charm, one he said he found in the carvings. Every generation, he said, one girl with the serpent mark must be given to the deep. Not killed by human hands, no. Given to the deep itself. In return, the river will not swallow our houses or our children. So my mark was part of his plan. Chica whispered, hand flying to her shoulder without thinking. In time, the calm head said. But he did not start with you. He started with something else. The gentle head lifted again, anger flickering in its eyes. He started with me, it said. He told my father, the river is angry at your line. Your son must be the first to go down. Not as a dead boy, but as a guardian. We will bind his soul to the deep. He will become the protector of Udu, watching from below, eating any curse that comes near. Chica's throat closed. He said that, she asked. To your father? About you? Yes, the gentle head answered. My father cried that night. He begged the river spirits in his room, take my crown, take my life, but spare my son. Kuro was always there, whispering, this is the only way. The cruel head's voice dropped to a low growl. I heard every word, it said. I remember my father looking at me with eyes full of love and fear, and feeling like a piece of meat between them. Chica's hands shook. What did they do? She asked, though she was not sure she wanted to know. They took me to the old temple by the river, the gentle head said. Not this shrine. The one that stood before it. They painted my body with chalk and oil. They wrapped me in white cloth, like you. They led me down into a cavern like this one. It looked around. Maybe this very one, it said softly. But it did not look like this then. The altar was new. The chains were bright. There were no bones. No broken pots. The calm head spoke again, voice flat. Kuro stood above me and chanted old words, it said. My father watched, tears on his face. He thought he was saving the kingdom and his son at the same time. The cruel head's tongue flicked, angry. He was wrong. What happened? Chica asked. The gentle head's eyes grew distant. I felt something enter me, it said. Cold and hot at the same time. Like the river was pouring into my blood. My bones hurt. My skin crawled. I tried to call out to my father, but my mouth would not open. The world pulled apart. My heart felt like it was being cut with a sharp stone. The cruel head finished the thought. And then, it said, we became three. Chica swallowed. How? She whispered. The calm head answered. Kuro did not bind one whole soul to the serpent, it said. He cut it. He took Nago's gentleness, his kindness, his hope, and pushed it into one part. He took Nago's anger, his fear, his hurt, all the pain of being offered like a goat, and pushed it into another. He took Nago's mind, his calm, his judgment, his memory, and pushed it into the third. Then he twisted them together and tied them to a serpent body. It paused. The spell was not meant to be kind, it said. It was meant to be useful. Kuro wanted a guardian, yes. But he also wanted a threat. Something he could point to whenever the people were restless and say, do as I say, or the deep will come. The gentle head bowed low, almost to the stone. I woke up, it said, and I was this. I could feel my own other pieces inside me, sharp and loud. This one. It nodded toward the cruel head. This is my anger. My hurt. My wish to bite the world that bit me first. And this one, it nodded toward the calm head. This is my memory and judgment, pulled away from my heart so it cannot feel fully, only watch. The cruel head stared at Chica, eyes bright and hard. If you had been cut like that, it asked softly, would you still be kind? Would you not want to scream and burn the world down? Chica opened her mouth, then closed it again. She thought of times she had been angry. When the other girls had mocked her mark. When boys had thrown stones at her goat. When she had seen people look away from her as soon as the serpent shape formed on her back. There had been moments when she wanted to shout, to push, to hurt back. What if someone had taken all those moments and built a whole person from them? She looked at the cruel head and did not answer. The calm head went on. For many years, we lay down here, it said. Kuro told the people that the prince had become their guardian. He told them they must send a bride whenever the stars said so, to feed the bond. The gentle head's eyes filled with pain. The first bride, it said, was a girl from the palace. My cousin. She came down with a flower in her hair, singing a song she had learned beside me when we were children. She thought she would find me as a boy with river light in his hands. Instead, she found me like this. Chica's chest hurt. "What did you do?" she whispered. The gentle head closed its eyes. "I begged her to run," it said. But there was nowhere to go. The spell pulled at us. Kuro had tied the guardian to fear. Every time someone walked into this cavern full of terror, it fed the angry part of me. This one. It motioned to the cruel head. He grew stronger. The cruel head smiled, slow and sharp. I told her, it hissed, that she had been thrown away by cowards who did not want to pay their own price. I told her that I would show them what it felt like to lose something precious. I wrapped around her. Gentle pulled one way. Calm watched. I bit down. Chica clapped a hand over her mouth. "You killed her," she whispered, voice shaking. "Yes," the cruel head said, without shame. "And every bride after. Some we ate fast. Some we spoke to for a while. Some cursed us. Some cried. All of them fed me." The gentle head shook with shame. "I tried to stop it," it said. "I tried to hold the body back. But the spell was stronger than I was. The more afraid they were, the more power the anger had." Kuro made sure the stories they told above were full of fear. He told them to sing songs of screaming. To tell children that the deep would eat them. He was feeding this side of me on purpose, so he could keep Udo on a leash of terror. The calm head looked straight at Chica. "The people thought they were giving their daughters to save the kingdom," it said. "In truth, they were feeding their fear and their guilt to a serpent that would one day turn on them." Chica's legs finally gave up. She sank slowly to her knees on the cold stone. "So all those girls," she said, her voice small. "Brides who never came back. They were not saving anyone." The gentle head lowered itself until its forehead almost touched the floor. "No," it said. "They were victims of a lie. Their deaths press down on my chest every night. Their faces float in my sleep. My anger used them. My calm watched. My heart broke." The cruel head's eyes flickered. "Do not pretend you did not hate them a little," it said. "They came down here calling you protector. They never asked if you wanted this. They never thought to turn back to the steps and drag someone else down with them. They just accepted the story. It made me sick." The calm head hissed softly. "Enough," it said. "We know what we are. We are not asking her to love us for nothing." Chica lifted her head. "You said the brides were meant to be something else," she said. "Mediators. Not food. What did you mean?" The gentle head's gaze grew more steady. "In the first charm," it said, before Kuro twisted it, "the idea was different. The guardian spirit of the river and the land needed a human heart to remind it what it protected. Every generation, someone brave would come down, not to die, but to speak. To remind the spirit of farmers' hands. Of children's laughter. Of old women's stories. To keep it from turning into only flood and hunger." Chica's mind flashed through her life, helping Mama Nika in the field, washing clothes with other girls by the river, laughing under the big mango tree, listening to old Mama Sua tell stories. "So the bride was supposed to be a voice?" she asked. "A friend. A partner," the calm head said. "One who could stand close enough to see all three sides of us and say, 'No, you may not crush that village just because they forgot to bring you yam. Yes, you must rise a little higher, or the drought will kill the crops.' Someone who could choose which part of us should lead." The cruel head sneered. "And Kuro took that idea," it said, "and turned it into a meal and a chain." The gentle head looked up at the dark crack in the cave roof where a bit of light crept in. For years and years we waited, it said. Every bride who came, we hoped she might be the one to break the pattern. To stand and speak and see us as more than a beast. But they were always too afraid. Too sad. Too full of stories of death. They saw only the monster. They fed only my anger. Its eyes turned back to Chica, bright and sharp now. Until you, it said. Chica blinked. Me, she asked. I am afraid too. Yes, the gentle head said. But you are also angry at the right things. When you said no in the shrine, the river shook. When they pushed you, you did not scream, "Save me." You whispered, "Remember, I did not bow." You walked in here and asked for truth, not pity. You are not a goat. You are not a gift. You are someone who can look at a bad thing and still see the shape of something better inside it. The cruel head's eyes narrowed, studying her. I hate almost everyone, it said. But when you kicked at the door of your fate instead of crying, a small piece of me laughed. In a good way. I do not want to bite that laugh. Chica almost smiled, even as her hands still shook. So what is this choice you keep talking about? She asked. You said I have to marry all three of you. I do not even know what that means. And you spoke of an eclipse. The calm head shifted closer, its golden eyes never leaving hers. In 3 days, it said, the sun and moon will cross paths in the sky. The day will darken. The river will hold its breath. That is the one time the chains on this curse loosen. If, at that moment, you stand on this altar, place your hands on all three of our heads, and speak the old words from your heart, the spell can change. It can gather the 3 pieces of Nago's soul and bind them back together as one. The serpent body will melt. The guardian spirit will rise, not as a beast that feeds on fear, but as a watcher that answers to you and those who come after you. Chica's mouth went dry. And, if I cannot, she asked, very quietly. If I touch only the gentle head because I cannot stand the cruel one. If I flinch. If I run. The cavern seemed to grow colder. The cruel head's smile widened, but there was no joy in it. Then I win, it said simply. Your fear will feed me one last time. I will eat the gentle and the calm from the inside. Their voices will fade. This body will break its chains. I will crawl out of this hole, up through the shrine, into the streets of Voodoo. I will coil around the palace and squeeze until it falls like a clay pot. I will teach them what it means to give and never care what happens below. The gentle head shuddered. I do not want that, it whispered. I am so tired of death. The calm head's voice was toneless, but Chica could hear the weight inside it. Neither do I, it said. That is why we called you. Why the mark showed on your back. Why the river pushed you here. You are our last chance. And we are yours. Chica hugged her knees to her chest for a moment, curling in on herself. 3 days. Touching 3 heads. Loving not just the kind pieces, but also the ugly ones. Choosing the whole truth, not just the easy part. It felt too big. Too heavy. Too unfair. I never asked for this, she whispered. We know, the gentle head said. We did not ask to be cut apart. But here we are. Chica raised her head slowly. If I agree, she said, if I try this marriage, what happens to me? The calm head watched her. You do not die, it said. Not from the ritual. But your life will not stay small. Your heart will be tied to the river, to the land, to us. You will feel when the water is sick. When people do wrong with magic. When storms come. You will not be just a village girl anymore. You will be something in between. People will come to you with their fears. Some will blame you for things you did not do. Some will thank you for things they do not understand. The gentle head's voice softened. You may never marry a farmer and count goats beside him, it said. Your path will be different. But you will be alive. And many others will be alive because of you. The cruel head rolled its eyes. Or, it said, you can say no. We can all sink together. Then no one will bother you with their problems. Chica looked down at her hands. She thought of Mama Nika's face when she let go of her at the hill. Of the children in the village chasing chickens and laughing. Of the boys who teased her, and the girls who braided her hair. Of old Mama Sua, who told stories and fell asleep halfway through. She thought of the river at night, dark and smooth, hiding this cavern under its skin. Even if I hate what they did, she said slowly, I do not want them to die. Not like that. Not under you. The cruel head flicked its tongue. Then you already know your answer, it said. Chica lifted her eyes to meet all three sets of golden ones. I will not promise yet, she said. I need to think. I need to see more than just your words. I need to know if there is really something worth saving inside you. The gentle head nodded, a spark of hope in its sad eyes. Fair, it said. Ask. Watch. Test. We have 3 days. We will show you who we are. The calm head dipped once. And you, it said, must also show us who you are. This bond cannot be made by fear alone. It must be choice, on both sides. The cruel head hissed, but did not argue. Chica slowly got to her feet again. Her legs were still shaky, but they held. Then we wait, she said quietly. 3 days for me to decide if I will hold a monster's heads in my hands, or let a kingdom drown in the darkness it made. The cavern seemed to breathe. Far above, unseen, the sun and moon inched closer to each other. And deep in the shadows, old magic shifted, paying attention. Chica did not sleep on the first night. After the three heads finished speaking, the cavern grew quiet. Only the sound of slow breathing, dripping water, and the small rustle of scales on stone filled the air. Chica sat with her back against the altar, arms wrapped around her knees. Her body was tired, but her mind ran in circles. She felt like someone had dropped a huge stone into her chest. Every thought was a ring around it. I am the bride. I am not food. I am the last chance. I did not ask for this. If I run, they die. If I stay, I change forever. Beside her, the gentle head lay with its chin on the rock, eyes half closed. The calm head watched the cave entrance, like a guard. The cruel head dozed and woke and dozed again, tongue flicking in its sleep, tasting dreams. After a long time, the gentle head spoke, voice soft. Sleep if you can, Chica, it said. The sun will rise above, even if we do not see it. You will need strength for what is coming. Chica gave a weak laugh. How can I sleep? She asked, while three giant heads stare at me. The cruel head opened one eye. We do not stare, it grumbled. We watch. There is a difference. The calm head did not look away. You can turn toward the rock if it helps, it said. We do not need your face to know you are there. We can hear your heart. Chica turned onto her side, facing the rough stone wall. She pulled her knees closer, like she did as a child when thunder was too loud. Her hand found her pendant again, fingers circling the carved serpent coil. Tell me a good thing, she whispered suddenly. Before I sleep. Not about curses. Not about Kuro. Something small. Something that does not hurt. There was a short silence. Then the gentle head spoke. When I was still a boy, it said, before everything, my mother used to hide sweet groundnut cakes under my pillow. She said, even princes must look for their own joy sometimes. I would pretend I did not know, then find them and shout with delight. She would laugh like a girl. For a moment, it was just us, not king and queen, not guards and court. Just mother and child and stolen sweets. Chica smiled into the dark. My mama hides dried mango in the cooking pot, she said. When I was small, I thought it was magic. Now I know she just wants to keep my cousins from eating it all. The cruel head made a low sound that might have been a laugh. Once, it said, when we were stuck alone in this cave for many days, Gentle tried to teach Calm to sing an old river song. He did not know all the words. He made some up. They were bad. Calm still sings those wrong words in his mind when he thinks I am not listening. The calm head hissed softly. Stop, it said. I do not sing. You do, the cruel head shot back. Badly. Chica's smile grew a little wider. The fear did not leave her, but something warm settled on top of it, like a cloth over a sharp stone. Thank you, she whispered. That helps. Her eyes grew heavy at last. She slept on the cold stone, with 3 giant heads keeping watch. When she woke, it was hard to tell if it was day or night. Only the thin line of light from the crack in the ceiling told her time had passed. Her neck hurt. Her back ached. Her face felt puffy from dried tears. But she was still alive. The gentle head lifted as she sat up. Water, it asked. Chica blinked. There is water here, she asked, surprised. Do you drink? The calm head nodded toward the dark pool at the edge of the cavern. The river seeps into this place, it said. We drink when we need to. The gentle head shifted its huge body slightly. A coil slid like a rope, carefully, so as not to crush the broken pots around it. Come, it said. We will not bite. Chica stood slowly. Her legs tingled. She took small steps, keeping one hand on the altar to steady herself. The 3 heads watched her, but made no sudden move. At the pool, the water was black and still. She knelt and cupped her hands. The water was cold, but clean. It tasted like rock and thyme. As she drank, she saw her reflection tremble on the surface, wide eyes, braids loose and messy, serpent pendant hanging over the water. In the reflection, behind her, the 3 heads loomed like dark mountains with golden stars for eyes. She swallowed and looked away. Do you eat? She asked quietly, still looking at the water. Now, I mean. Not people. Anything else. The cruel head was quiet for once. It was the calm head who answered. The curse tied our hunger to fear and sacrifice, it said. When no brides came, we waited. Slept. Drank river water. Ate small fish, sometimes. It paused. It did not fill the emptiness. Only screams did. Chica's stomach turned. Do you want to eat people? She asked, turning to face them. The gentle head shook from side to side slowly. No, it said. I never did. That part is him. It nodded to the cruel head. And even he is what was made, not what was born. The cruel head finally spoke, eyes narrow. I want to bite those who threw you here, it said. I want to crush the steps of the shrine. I want to wrap Kuro in my coils and listen to his bones crack, even though he is long dead. Its voice grew harsher. I do not wake dreaming of children. I wake dreaming of cowards. Chica listened. It did not make her less afraid. But it changed the shape of that fear. She moved back to her place near the altar and sat down again. Tell me about the brides, she said. All of them. The ones before me. The gentle head closed its eyes for a moment, as if it were pulling something heavy out of a deep hole. We remember them all, it said softly. Not just the fear and the blood. Their songs. The names they whispered. The things they wished they had done. Over the next hours, as the light in the crack above shifted slowly, the serpent told her. There was Amma, who came down with flowers woven in her hair. She had a soft voice and kept touching the wall, saying, "It is real. It is real." She had been promised to a boy in the next village before the mark on her shoulder showed. She cried his name until her throat went raw. There was Fola, who walked in with her head high, like Chica. She spat at the altar and shouted curses at the king. She tried to throw stones at the serpent heads with shaking hands. Her anger fed the cruel head until it shook with power. There was little Lami, only 13, who kept asking, "If I die bravely, will my mother be proud?" She still had a child's face. As the gentle head spoke, Chica saw each girl in her mind. Their feet on the steps. Their shadows in the cave. Tears ran down her face again and again. Sometimes she clenched her fists until her nails hurt her palms. "Didn't any of them see you?" she asked at last, voice thick. "See that you were more than teeth?" The calm head thought for a moment. "One," it said slowly. "There was one who almost did. Her name was Sia. She was older than you, maybe 20. She had been learning charms from her grandmother in secret. When she came down, she did not scream right away. She reached out and touched our snout." Chica's breath caught. "What happened?" she whispered. The gentle head's eyes shone. For a moment, it said, the spell shook. She saw us, all 3 parts, at once. She said, "You are broken." Not like an insult. Like a truth. She said, "I will not feed you." The cruel head's voice lowered. "I liked her," it said. "Even when she hit me with chalk dust and river stones. She was brave." Chica leaned forward. "Did she break the curse?" she asked quickly. "No," the calm head answered. "The priests above were afraid. They had heard her grandmother taught her charms. They did not trust her to obey the ritual. They rushed the chant. They shouted the old words wrong. The fear poured faster. The chain tightened. She lost her hold." The gentle head bowed. "We tried to hold back," it whispered. "We failed. She died. I still see her eyes when I close mine." Chica pressed her palm over her mouth. It hurt to hear. But she needed to hear it. She needed to know what had gone wrong before. So she could choose something else. The first day passed in story and silence. The second day, Chica began to ask questions that cut closer. "Why should I trust you?" she demanded, standing with fists on her hips. Kuro lied. The priests lied. The king agreed. How do I know this new bond is not just another way to use me? The cruel head let out a sharp laugh. You should not trust us, it said. Not yet. You should watch. Test. Bite back with words. The calm head nodded. If you make the bond, it said, you will not be our pet. The spell will tie us to you. To your line. You will be the one who can call us and send us back. That is why the mark comes on your skin, not ours. Chica frowned. So I become, what? Your keeper, she asked. More like a partner, the gentle head said. But with teeth on both sides. Chica paced back and forth on the stone, bare feet slapping softly. What if I become like Kuro, she asked. What if I enjoy the power? What if I use you to scare people, the way he used you to scare my mothers and grandmothers? The calm head watched her carefully. That is a real danger, it said. Power always pulls. Even gentle rivers can drown. So why risk it? Chica asked, stopping to face them. Why not just let the curse die here, all of us together? The gentle head's voice was very quiet. Because the river is not just you and us, it said. There are farmers who trust the water to grow yam. Children who splash on the bank. Old women who sit and wash and sing. If we sink into dark with no one to listen, others will come. Other sorcerers. Other tricks. The hole Kuro opened will not close by itself. The cruel head's tongue flicked. And because, it added, I am tired of being only teeth. I want to see what I would be if I was not just the worst piece of Nago. I want to know if, under all this, there is still something worth keeping. Chika stopped pacing. She stared at the cruel head. Do you feel sorry? She asked bluntly. For the girls you killed? The head's eyes flared. I feel angry, it said. At Kuro. At your king. At your people for clapping during the holy songs while throwing you away. It paused. And sometimes, when gentle is loud, I feel tired. Like eating them did not give me what I thought it would. It forced the next words out like they hurt. I feel wrong. Chika did not look away. That was enough for now. The second night, she dreamed of 3 rivers. One was clear and gentle, full of fish and laughter. One was red and wild, crashing and biting at the banks. One was black and still, reflecting everything but showing nothing. All 3 met at a stone where a girl stood alone, holding out her hands. When she woke, her palms were wet with sweat. The crack above showed a thinner line of light. The air felt tight. How many days? She asked. The eclipse comes tomorrow, the calm head answered. Chika's heart beat faster. Then today, she said, I must decide. She moved closer to them, until she could feel their breath, warm and heavy, on her skin. I want to speak to each of you alone, she said. One by one. No talking over each other. No jokes. The cruel head opened its mouth in protest. That is not. The calm head cut in. Agreed, it said. You first, gentle. Then me. Then him. The cruel head hissed. Why am I last? It demanded. Because you will shout, the calm head said. We will need her mind clear when she speaks to you. Do you want to ruin our only chance? The cruel head glared. Then it snorted. Fine, it said. Save the best for last. The gentle head bent low, close to Chika. What do you want to know? It asked. Chika took a deep breath. If we do this, she said, if I bind you, and you become whole again, what will you be? The gentle head thought for a long time. Not a prince, it said at last. Not as before. That boy is gone. Too much has happened. Too much has been done through this body. I cannot sit on a stool and smile as if I have not killed your sisters. So what then? Chika pressed. A worker, the gentle head said slowly. A watcher. Someone who goes where the river hurts and fixes it. Someone who walks past houses and checks if they stand safe. And someone who listens. To you. To the people. Not like a god. Like a guard who owes a debt. Chika nodded slowly. Will you ever ask people to send brides again? She asked. The gentle head recoiled. Never, it said. If anyone tries to start that again, I will be the first to break their altars. Chika searched its eyes. She saw pain. She saw hope. She saw someone who carried many ghosts. It would never be clean. But it might be true. Next, she turned toward the calm head. You, she said. You watched all this and did nothing. Why should I trust you? The calm head did not flinch. You are right to judge me, it said. I am the part that thinks, measures, plans. But without the heart and the anger, I am only half awake. I see the right path, but I do not always move. I have been a coward, hiding in thought while others die. Chika folded her arms. And now, she asked. Now, the calm head said, I see that thinking alone will not save us. We need your courage. We need gentle's mercy. We even need cruel's fire, but tied to something bigger than itself. If you bind us, my work will be to remember everything, weigh choices, and remind you when power pulls too hard. Remind me. Chika asked. Yes, the calm head said. If you start to act like Kuro, I will be the voice that says, you are becoming the thing you hate. Not to shame you. To warn you. Chika let that sit in her mind. At last, she turned to the cruel head. It watched her with bright, sharp eyes. Your turn, she said. No jokes. No biting words. The cruel head exhaled slowly. Ask, it said. Do you want this bond, she asked. Or would you rather break free and burn everything? The cruel head's tongue flicked, slow for once. Once, it said, I only wanted to burn. But when you came down and did not kneel, something changed. You looked at me and did not pretend I was just a sad story. You called me what I am, a monster made by other monsters. You did not flatter me. You did not spit. You saw. It looked away for a second, then back. I am tired, Chika, it said, and there was no hiss in its voice now, only raw sound. Tired of chewing on fear. Tired of waking up with blood in my mouth in dreams. Tired of being only the worst thing I feel. If you bind us, some of me will die. I know that. My edges will soften. I will not be this sharp. Its eyes burned. But maybe, it went on, what is left will finally be something more than teeth. If you fail, yes, I will rise and burn. I will not lie. But if you stand on that stone and put your hand on my head, I will not fight you. Chika was quiet. Every part of her felt full. At last, she stepped back so she could see all three at once. Her voice was small, but clear. I have heard you, she said. I have seen what you are. None of you are clean. None of you are safe. But, neither is my kingdom. We have lived on fear for too long. We threw our daughters away. We let lies sit on the shrine like truth. She touched her pendant. In 3 days, you said, she whispered. But the light in the crack is thin. How long now? The calm head lifted its face toward the roof. It will be soon, it said. By the time you can count 100 breaths, the sky above will begin to darken. Chika's heart pounded. Then I will decide now, she said. She took a deep breath that seemed to pull air from the very bottom of the cave. I will stand on the altar during the eclipse, she said slowly. I will put my hands on all three of your heads. I will speak the words. I will not choose only the part of you that is easy. I will choose the whole truth. The gentle head closed its eyes, like it was holding back a sob. The calm head bowed low, deep in respect. The cruel head looked at her with something like pride. You are either very brave, it said quietly, or very foolish. I am both, Chika replied. But I am also Uda's daughter. And I am tired of fear. Above them, the thin line of light began to change. It grew dimmer, like a hand was slowly sliding across the face of the sun. Far above, in the kingdom that thought its bride was already dead, people began to look up at the sky in wonder and worry. In the cavern, Chika climbed onto the altar, bare feet feeling the cold, carved stone. The three heads moved closer, circling her like a living crown. The air grew thick. The world held its breath. The eclipse was coming. The light in the cavern changed. At first, it was only a thin gray glow, like dawn trying to enter a dream. Then it grew stronger, colder, and more strange. The air itself seemed to twist, as if something far above was turning in the sky. Chika looked up. There was no window in the stone roof, no hole to see the heavens. But she could feel it. The eclipse, she whispered. It's starting. A low sound rolled through the cavern, like a drum beaten very far away. The three heads of the serpent lifted at the same time, listening. "The sun and moon have met," the calm head said. "This is the hour." Chica's throat felt dry. Her hands were still clasped around her wooden serpent pendant. She forced her fingers to loosen and let it fall back against her chest. "How do we begin?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. The gentle head dipped a little, like a man bowing his head before a hard truth. "You must come closer," he said. "You must stand where you can touch us. You must speak the words of binding with your own will. No one can push you. No one can force you. If your heart is not true, nothing will break, except you." The cruel head gave a sharp, amused hiss. "Come then, little bride," he sneered. "Let us see if your brave talk can survive 3 bites of truth." The calm head said nothing. His golden eyes watched her, cool and heavy. Chica took a slow breath. Her legs felt weak, but they still moved. She walked around the stone altar until she stood at the serpent's side, so close that she could see the fine lines on each scale and smell the strange mix of river water and old stone on his breath. She lifted her chin. "Tell me what to say," she said. The gentle head came closest. His voice was soft. "First, you must speak to me," he said. "To the part of me that still remembers kindness. You must choose me, not as your prince, not as your husband, but as a life you wish would never have been twisted." Chica nodded. Her heart hurt. She rested one hand on the cold stone of the altar to steady herself. She turned to the gentle head. His eyes were full of sorrow, like an old man looking at a house that had burned down. "Prince of Udu," she said quietly, "I see the part of you that is afraid and tired. I see the boy you were before the magic cut you. I see the young man who did not want to be a monster. I choose to see your pain, not to excuse your wrong, but to know it is not all you are." She stepped closer. With shaking fingers, she touched his forehead, just between his eyes. His scales under her hand were warm. "I accept your gentle heart," she whispered. A small pulse of light ran under her palm, like a little gold fish swimming just under the surface of water. The whole cavern shivered. The cruel head laughed, a low, bitter sound. "Of course you accept him," he mocked. "He is the easy part. The sad eyes. The soft words. The one who says sorry and hopes it will fix everything." His head swung down until his face was level with hers. His eyes were sharp as broken glass. "What about me?" he asked. "The part that hates. The part that enjoyed hearing them scream. Will you accept that too?" Chica's body wanted to step back. Her feet stayed where they were. She turned to face him. His eyes were full of fire and teeth and old, hot rage. She saw people he had killed. She saw fear he had tasted. She saw her own anger in his glare, and it made her feel sick. "You are the part that wants to burn the whole world," she said, voice low. "You are the part that says, if I suffer, everyone must suffer. You are the part people fear the most." She swallowed. "You disgust me," she said honestly. "But I also know this, if I pretend you are not real, if I pretend you are gone, you will only grow stronger in the dark. So I will not pretend. I will not lie." Her hand shook as she lifted it. She pressed her fingers to his forehead. His scales felt hotter, almost burning. "I accept your anger," she whispered. "I do not say it is good. I do not say I like it. But I accept that it is part of the same soul. I choose to see it instead of pretend it is only a shadow." For a moment, nothing happened. Then a hard, hot jolt ran through her arm like a spark. The cruel head's eyes flared bright, then flickered, as if a wind had entered them. He hissed, but this time the sound held confusion. "What have you done?" he growled. "Brought you into the light," she said simply. Now she turned to the center head. He had watched everything without blinking. He was calm, still, and cold. "You are the judge," she said. "The one who weighs everything and everyone. The one who stands above and says, 'You are guilty. You are innocent. You are the part that wants order and balance, even if others bleed for it.'" He said nothing. His gaze did not soften. Chica stepped close enough that she could see her own face reflected in his eyes, small, brown, scared, stubborn. "You frighten me in a different way," she told him. "You make me afraid I will never be good enough. That you will always find one more reason to punish, one more reason to hold back love. But you are also the part that can see clearly. The part that can choose to be fair." She reached up. Her hand hovered, then settled on his forehead. His scales were cool. "I accept your judgment," she said. "But I do not give you the right to judge alone. I call you to stand beside your sorrow and your anger, not above them. You are all one being. You rise or fall together." This time, the light that answered was not small. A bright ring of gold shot out from under her palm, racing across all three heads at once. It ran down the long neck, into the thick hidden body, then flashed back up like a returning wave. The serpent gave a great shudder. All three heads cried out in one voice that shook the stones. High above, the eclipse deepened. The last thin ring of sun slipped behind the moon. For a heartbeat, the world above became strange and dark. In the cavern, the chains that bound the serpent to the altar snapped like dry sticks. Metal links flew in all directions. Some turned to dust in the air before they hit the ground. The ancient symbols carved into the stone glowed, then cracked. Chica stumbled back, eyes wide. The serpent's body began to change. Not like a clean skin shedding. Not like Obina tearing out of his own flesh. This change was slower, more painful, more full. The three heads pulled together until their necks touched. Light ran between them like threads, weaving them into one shape. Scales melted into something like mist, then hardened again, but different. The long body lifted off the altar. For a moment it looked like a river made of light, curling in the air. Then, slowly, the shape settled. When the bright gold faded, a figure stood where the serpent had coiled. He was tall and dark-skinned, with braided hair that fell over his shoulders. His eyes held all three lights at once, soft amber, sharp gold, steady molten yellow. Around his shoulders, a cloak made of faint, moving scales flowed like water. Where his feet touched the stone, small circles of light rippled out like drops in a pool. Chica stared. "Are you?" she began. The men smiled, a little sad, a little amazed. "I am Cato," he said. "Prince of Udu, child of the old king, broken by a sorcerer, bound as a serpent, now, something else." His voice sounded like all three heads at once, but blended. Gentle, angry, calm, together. Chica's knees felt weak. She sank down, not in worship, but because the weight of everything made her legs give way. "Did it work?" she whispered. "Is the curse?" She could not finish the question. Cato lifted his hands and looked at them, turning them slowly as if he had never seen fingers before. "The hunger is gone," he said softly. "I feel anger. I feel sorrow. I feel judgment. But they are quieter now. They listen to each other. They do not push me like fire in my bones. And..." He closed his eyes. "I hear the river," he added. "It is singing a new song." The cavern shook again, but this time it felt like a laugh, not a threat. Water seeped from the cracks in the wall, clear and clean. It flowed around Chica's feet, cool and gentle, then sank back into the rock. Above ground, people in Uda stopped in the streets. They felt the ground tremble softly under their toes. They heard, for just a moment, the sound of a great sigh coming from the earth. At the shrine, the head priest stumbled as the altar above the cavern cracked. The bride, someone shouted. The earth is angry. The gods are angry. No, whispered an old woman at the edge of the crowd. Listen. That feels like relief. Back in the cavern, Chica slowly stood. The water had washed the dust from her feet. Cato looked at her with eyes that no longer burned like pure fire. They were deep and bright and full of things she could not yet name. You did what no one before you could do, he said. You looked at all of me. You did not run. Chica gave a small, tired smile. I wanted to, she admitted. But I am tired of running from fear. Fear took enough from us. He nodded. And I am tired of being fear, he said. It is time I became something else. He turned his head, listening to something only he could hear. The tunnel is opening, he said. The way back to the shrine. The people will see us soon. They will scream. They will want to throw spears or kneel or both. You must speak first, Chica. They will listen more to you than to me. Chica's stomach tightened. What do I even say? She asked. How do I tell them the stories their fathers told them are wrong and right at the same time? Tell them the truth, Cato said simply. And stand where they can see you are not dead. The stone at the far end of the cavern groaned. Dust fell from the ceiling. A crack widened in the rock, light spearing through in thin white lines. The sound of many voices above grew louder, shouting, crying, praying. Chica wiped her face with the back of her hand. She straightened her tunic, tightened her Kent sash, and touched her serpent pendant once, like a promise. Come then, she said. If I am bride of the deep, it is time for the deep to speak. They walked toward the widening crack together. When they stepped out onto the broken steps of the shrine, the crowd gasped as one. Chica stood in the doorway, alive. Her clay-brown skin was streaked with dust, her braids tangled, but her back was straight. Beside her stood a man wrapped in moving scales of light, his eyes bright like coins in water. For a moment, no one moved. Then Chica lifted both hands. Do not run, she called. Her voice carried in the strange eclipse light. Do not throw stones. Listen. Her mother pushed through the crowd, eyes wide with tears. Chica, she cried. My child. You live. Chica's voice wobbled, but she held herself firm. I live, she said. And I did not go down to feed a beast. I went to meet the truth you were never told. She told them about the old king's deal, about the jealous sorcerer, about the 3 heads and the chained serpent. She told them about the brides who had been thrown away, not as food, but as forgotten messengers. She did not hide the ugly parts. She spoke of the people the serpent had killed. She spoke of fear, of lies, of priests who had chosen easy terror over hard truth. The head priest shook his head, sweating. These are dangerous words, he stammered. Child, you do not understand the weight of. Be quiet, said Cato. His voice was not loud, but it rolled through the shrine like thunder. The time for your half-story is finished, he said. You fed my rage with your silence. You told them the serpent only wanted blood. You never told them it also wanted to be free. The people looked between Chica and Cato, frightened and hopeful all at once. Chief Ade, the leader of Udu, stepped forward. His face was lined with age and worry. If you are the prince our stories speak of, he said slowly, if you are the serpent who has taken our children, why should we not cut you down where you stand? Cato held his gaze. You could try, he said. But I am not here to ask for your fear. I am here to offer my service. The curse that twisted me is broken. I am bound now to protect this land, not punish it. Not because you deserve it. Because she chose mercy when revenge was easier. He nodded toward Chica. Let her answer for me, he added. She has seen all of me. You have seen only shadows. All eyes turned to Chica. Her heart pounded, but she met the chief's eyes. "If we kill him now," she said, "we will only start a new curse. We will teach our children that when someone tries to change, we cut them anyway. We will teach them that mercy is foolish and fear is wise." She spread her hands. "But if we let him stay," she went on, "we will not forget what he did. We will not make him a simple hero. We will give him work. Hard work. He will help guard our river. He will warn us when dark magic comes near. He will be our watcher, not our eater. And we will remember that it was our own greed and fear that helped make the curse strong." There was a long silence. Then an old woman with a bent back and sharp eyes shuffled forward. She looked at Chica, then at Cato. "My granddaughter was taken by the serpent," she said. Her voice shook. "I have hated these stories for many years. I wanted you dead, serpentman. But when the ground shook today, I saw a dream. I saw my granddaughter's face in a light. She was smiling. She said, 'Grandmother, I am free.' Her lips trembled. 'If my child can let go of her hate on the other side of death,' she finished, 'maybe I can let go of a little here. I say we watch you. I say we test you. But I also say, we give you a chance.' Slowly, others began to speak. 'I saw my son in a dream too,' someone whispered. 'My sister,' another said. 'I felt something leave my chest,' a man added, pressing his hand over his heart. Chief Ade took a deep breath. 'Then this is what we will do,' he said at last. 'From today, there will be no more brides of the deep. No more girls thrown into holes. The mark of the serpent will not mean sacrifice. It will mean calling.' He turned to Chica. 'You,' he said, 'will be our voice of the deep. You will stand between the river and the people. You will speak to the spirit prince when we are afraid. You will remind us that easy fear makes monsters and hard mercy makes guardians.' Chica's legs felt wobbly again. 'I am only a village girl,' she protested softly. 'I grind herbs. I fetch water.' 'You went into the dark and came back with truth,' Chief Ade replied. 'That is more than many kings can say.' Cato smiled, a real smile this time. 'You will not stand alone,' he told her. 'I will answer when you call, unless you call me only to help carry heavy baskets.' There was a small ripple of laughter through the crowd. It broke the tight fear like a clay pot cracking. Months later, no more girls were lined up and checked for marks. The shrine was rebuilt, not as a place of sacrifice, but as a house of meeting. People came to pour clean water and make honest promises, not to hide their fear behind blood. Chica walked by the river each day, listening to its deep song. Sometimes children followed her, asking questions. 'Were you scared?' they would say. 'Yes,' she always answered. Bravery does not mean you are never afraid. It means you choose what to do with your fear. Cato watched from the water's edge, sometimes in human form, sometimes as a great serpent made of light and mist, never again as a hungry beast. He warned fishermen when storms were coming. He pulled lost boys back from strong currents. He learned to bow his head to mothers who still looked at him with tears in their eyes. He did not ask for their love. He tried to earn their trust. And at night, when the moon was full and the river was quiet, he and Chica would sit together on a smooth rock. 'Do you ever wish things were simple?' Chica asked him once. 'Simple how?' he replied. 'That you were just a bad monster and I was just a brave girl,' she said. 'No hard choices. No broken pieces. Just a clean story.' He thought for a moment. 'Simple stories are easy to tell,' he said. 'But they do not help us grow. If I were only a monster, I would stay in the dark. If you were only a hero, you would never see your own anger. Because we are both more than one thing, we can change.' She nodded, leaning back on her hands. 'It still hurts sometimes,' she admitted. 'When I think of all the girls before me.' All the children. It will always hurt, he said gently. Pain does not vanish when we do the right thing. But it can start to mean something. It can become a warning and a guide, not just a wound. The river flowed on, carrying their words away. Moral of the story. When people are afraid, they often choose the easiest answer, find a monster, blame it for everything, and throw someone else into the dark to feel safe. But real courage is not just killing what we fear. Real courage is looking closely at the whole truth, the hurt, the anger, the guilt, and the part that still wants to do good. Choosing mercy is not the same as forgetting wrong. It is choosing to break the chain, so pain stops spreading from one generation to the next. Now it's your turn. If you were in Chica's place, standing in front of the three-headed serpent and the whole kingdom, what would you have done? Would you have chosen to trust and bind the serpent as a guardian, or would you have asked the people to destroy him? Tell me in the comments and explain why.